Hello everyone, Canberra here, and welcome back to another Magic the Gathering Arena video. This is the other Brawl video that I was going to do, which is Athreos the Shroud Veiled. I was going to choose between Shadric Silverquill and Athreos the Shroud Veiled. I wanted to save Shadric Silverquill for doing a 5-video building Brawl decks around the Strixhaven Dragons, and then Covert Go Blue went and beat me to it, but enough about that. So this is Athreos Shroud Veiled. I thought I'd use a deck which has quite a bit of removal, some decent early board, and then some big end gamers like Kaya the Inexorable, Massacre Worm, Drana the Lost Blood Chief to get back all the small creatures I lose, and then Extinction Event as well. And then for some of the early stuff I have like Karametra's Blessing to protect some of my creatures like Star Pupil, Thieves Guild Enforcer, Foul My Knight, Leonin Lightscrape of course because of how strong this card is at the minute, Clarion Spirits, Strict Proctor, which is quite a useful card because effectively when your opponent has cards that trigger abilities, they have to pay 2 or otherwise it's automatically countered. Daxos Blessed by the Sun, and Tyramat, just to give us some extra devotion. I've now got Arcane Signet as well, so I can add colors. Silverquill Silencer to force our opponent to pay a cost to pay their commander. Obviously for removal, I had Dire Tactics, Maya's Grasp, Heartless Act, Eliminate, Dead Weight, Blood Chief's Thirst. You know, lots and lots of kind of removal. Farrakhan's Libation. Deems Disciple to force them to sacrifice. We just have Selfless Glyph Weaver because what I can do is I can protect my creatures from my opponent's board wipe, or I can board wipe my opponent with Deadly Vanity. And then we also have Closing Statement, which is an expensive card, but it costs less if you do it on your end turn. It is quite a fun deck. The games I played with are quite enjoyable. You're seeing this in post. Just a heads up for the first 2 games. It's effectively a recorded voiceover because I put the mic on silent whilst recording a different video that I needed no background noise while recording the game footage because I've got a particular video coming on Friday, and I forgot to turn it back on for recording the first 2 games, so they're completely silent. So without further ado, we're going to get straight into the Brawl queue, and I will show you how I did. And just quickly for the land, we got 11 Plains, 11 Swamps, Pathway, and a Snarl. So let's get into it. Okay, so this is the first ever time I've actually had to record video in a post because I messed up and I forgot to unmute my microphone. So I was effectively playing against a Subira Tulzidi Caravaneer deck, which is basically another word for mono red aggro. So I played Thieves Guild Enforcer here in response to their Fervent Champion, and you'll see that for the early part, I kind of got off to a very, very shaky start. I kind of didn't really get the cards I needed, but I did have Extinction Event in hand. And it got a bit dicey towards the beginning because they were able to do a lot of damage quite quickly. And you'll see that as it went on, I kind of didn't have a lot of options. So you see me pass the turn here because I kind of worried. Because I didn't really get any second creature play, I didn't get any removal. I had a third land, but I needed to kind of get something to deal with the shit they were playing yet. So they got out Subira here and basically take this damage. So I took my turn, yeah, I got Tyramat calls Chosen from Death. And I thought, oh hey, you know, I got a good blocker there, I can block some damage. I took the rest, took the attack with Thieves Guild Enforcer. I think they drew Thundering Rebuke immediately next turn. So they took out Tyramat almost immediately. Which was not, yeah, there we go, the Thundering Rebuke, which wasn't particularly helpful. And then they just went in for another attack. And I thought by this point, I thought I was actually going to lose the game. So yeah, you see me play Foul My Knight here. Just to get a Death Touch on the board. And then I hit with the Basri Solidarity, so I thought, well, I might as well make them stronger. Because they can at least survive. So I left the attacks. I don't recall if they played any land here. I think they went in for the Merchant of the Veil to get the extra card. I think they were either looking for removal or they were looking for an extra land. Yeah, what's they got? Well, they got the land at least. So I blocked Subira here. No, that's right, I left it Subira. And then, yeah. Got kind of shafted on that. So I had Unveiled Tactician as well. Consider playing Demon's Disciple. I figured I'd pass and then just use Shroud Veiled Tactician to tap their creatures before they can attack next turn. By this point, I was really desperate for land as well. Because it was getting a bit painful. So I managed to get the tap here so that they couldn't attack me. Oh yeah, and then I had an issue with the game cocking me about. Because it kept delaying the taps, because it was being funny. So tap there, they got the Heartfire Immolator down, they couldn't attack me. I managed to pull the 4th land, and I decided I'd play Basri's Lieutenant first. Because they had a even card, so using using Extinction Event would have been pointless. So I played Basri's Lieutenant, and watch what happens next. I played the Basri's Lieutenant, went to put on the Thieves Guild Enforcer. Now this is where I think they made a mistake, because they chose to sacrifice Heartfire Immolator to destroy Thieves Guild Enforcer, but Thieves Guild Enforcer already had a +1/+1 counter, so I got the Knight there. I just didn't get my +1/+1. So they draw a card. They played Merchant of the Veil here. I chose not to block for this one, because I didn't want them to use a buff card. So they only attacked with Sabira, and I figured they had a buff card to get rid of Basri's Lieutenant. So I took the attack, which was quite fun. And then the next turn, I basically just used Extinction Event. So yeah, that was a thank you very much. I'll just wipe your board now, please. So I managed to survive that. And I think from then on, the game kind of turned in my favor. So I had, of course, a fresh board. They had their commander back in hand, and then I had removal to deal with them, basically. Surprised they didn't play something to remove that night, but whatever. Because they used cycling here. I'm assuming they were looking for more removal, or just enough mana to play Sabira. Because I had Dire Tactics as well. Yeah, they played Raid Bombardment as well. Yeah, I just used Demon's Disciples here to get rid of the Raging Redcap. Figured it would kind of be easier because it gives me 3 damage as well for later. I think I never ended up using Dire Tactics. I believe next turn I just played Kyra and then they scooped straight afterwards. Because they played Sabira, basically almost tapped out. And then the next turn I just played Kyra and exiled it. So I just exiled the commander and then I've got complete power on the board. Yep, and then they were done. So that's how effective I was able to turn the game around. It was quite fun to do, especially because I generally thought I'd lost within the first couple of turns. But in the end, it did kind of work out for me, which is pretty good. So I will leave it at there, and then you'll see me skip on to the next game in a minute. Okay, so this is the second game, and this is actually a mirror match against an Athreos Shroud Veiled deck, which is basically what I was using. Obviously, it's in the video title, derp. So I figured this hand was pretty good. You had Star Pupa, you had Clarion Spirit, Strict Proctor, played a little nice because I felt like being polite. So we dropped Star Pupa on turn 1, and then I believe they didn't respond for a while, actually. I don't think they played a lot. For some reason the book goes crazy, because I managed to, one of the games I managed to get the Mastery upgrade, which gave me the thing. So I played Strict Proctor first to make sure we could prevent them from doing anything, and because if I played Clarion Spirit, I wouldn't really be able to have much of an impact. Yeah, and then they took out, they killed my, course, Strict Proctor, which is a shame, because Strict Proctor was actually a really good card. So I played down the Swamp here, got Tyromat calls the dead out, give us the extra power. Kill, 1 damage, as you do. And then, yeah, literally most of this game, I believe, was just me reacting to them playing creatures. So I played out Resplendent Marshal when they couldn't really do anything with it, which was odd. But eventually I just Clarion Spirit, Dire Tactics, and it gave me extra board. Clarion Spirit there, then you play the Dire Tactics, get the 1/1 annual, and then you've got a decent board already, and you can just start swinging in. Yeah, do the 3 damage there. Eventually got to the point where I was just holding off Claymatra's Blessing as well. Yeah, so we had a Resolute Rider, Play that, and then get 1 extra for Karametra's Blessing. I was taking a chance on the fact they blocked Star Pupil rather than Clarion Spirit, which they did, which was not the best idea I think they've ever had. So, yeah, Star Pupil dies. Put the counter on Resolute Rider. Now, here's where it gets interesting, because they played Shadow's Verdict here. And I thought I was going to lose Resolute Rider, forgetting that it was 3 or less. So, to look at everything, I was worried about playing Karametra's Blessing on Resolute Rider. And then totally forgot, so the Rider was still live. That was kind of on me, to be honest. Yeah, I just dropped out the old Daxos and made Resolute Rider lifelink. So I could get more life, as you do. And I still had the Karametra's Blessing as well, in case they had a removal. And I think they good gamed me around here. Because by this point I had sort of won. Yeah, they played out Daxos here. And then that was kind of me done. Played out the Athreos. I was going to play it out and then decided not to. Stuff only happened like 45 minutes ago and I'm already forgetting about it. Jesus Christ. Yeah, they scooped here. It was basically by that point I had complete board control. I think they were looking for a board wipe and they ended up not getting it, so it kind of just threw them off. And anyway, I kind of just ended up taking the game there. So we'll just move on to the game 3, where I have a working microphone. Thank God. Okay, we're on the play, and that is an awful hand, and I've actually got the mic working in real time now. So, enough about me blabbering on in post. That's a better hand. I've got the free mulligans, so that's fine. Star Pupil into a bunch of shit, so that'll be fine. As long as I can survive long enough to get Resolute Rider, should be alright. I'm against Tergrid, the God of Fright. So yeah, I realised it halfway through the third game that I was trying to record that I had the mic on mute. So yeah, that was awkward, but we've got proper sound. So we'll just go play Star Pupil and we'll forget that I ever did that. Oops. We do need a 2-drop creature here folded into a land. I mean, it's always ideal, but, you know. That also works. Hopefully he won't die immediately. Please don't die immediately. You're like the best card out of Strixhaven, possibly. Yeah, I think he's going to kill it immediately. Yeah. Not a lot you can do there. I can just kind of react to whatever he plays at the moment because I'm holding all of these removal cards in hand. There we go. I will take that, and then we will just play the Resolute Rider here. Hopefully he won't die. So the problem with Mono Black decks, you know they're stacked with removal. Oh. So we got the big hit in here. Hopefully we can play Blood Chief's Thirst on Tergrid or whatever they decide to play. The Eradicated Valkyrie was annoying. Oh, bollocks. That's unhelpful. Hmm. Yeah. You got me some of that sweet, sweet Wishful Talisman. Literally no point playing Clarion Spirit at the minute. I just use cheaply block, actually. We need a mana so I can play Athreos. Yep, and they scoop. Very odd that they scooped there because they could have done some other stuff, but I'm guessing they didn't have any removal. So that would have been very unhelpful. The only thing they can just kind of do is just keep blocking. They could have at least got a Rider by double blocking, but there's no guarantee that would have worked. Because I had 7 damage, I would have killed both of them. So I think I kind of just had the advantage there. Even though they did have cards in hand, but I guess they didn't have what they needed, so we'll just move on to the next game. This hand is fine. I've got Arcane. I can play Arcane Signet at some point as well. It's the first time I've seen it, actually, while I was using this deck. They're using Renessary Inseparable. Okay. Play out the Swamp first. Sorry, I'm recording. Sorry, there we go. Yeah, I'm recording. There we go. So this looks like a, yeah, this is dogs. Cats and dogs. Signet. Gives me more to work with. Like this, don't I? I don't mind losing a Resolute right here, actually. I am literally about to get petted to death, aren't I? Right. Had to make that hit. Save my ass. Really need some removal off the top. Make the block here. Oh, yes, that's on me. Yeah, that's awkward. Indestructible isn't. I should have targeted the Savite Thundermane. I'm complete brain fart there because I thought, oh, it was a creature. I think I was dead anyway. I think even if I was able to select Alert Heed Bonder and probably take that out, I wouldn't have been able to have much luck. Yeah, I think they just built their deck. Their deck just got too much off to a good start too quickly. So we'll just leave that as a unfortunate defeat. Because there are how many dogs there were on that deck, I think it was kind of a rough game. Sorry, that was terrible. Moving on. Okay, we'll leave that one as sort of like the last game. So you could kind of see where the strengths were. Kai the Inexorable was really, really good. I think having Extinction Event was helpful. I maybe should have had Shatter the Sky as well. But so long as you can get your consistently draw removal with this deck, by the time you've got Athreos on the board, you have plenty of removal in hand, and you can just summon things to your side of the field, which is extremely useful. So Arcane Signet is obviously going to be a thing going forward in Brawl decks, obviously. I would have liked to see more Massacre Worm and more Drana the Last Blood Chief, but that's kind of fine. I think a lot of the early game stuff is very, very good for building board. And I think once Athreos comes onto the field, your removal becomes more important. But you do have to consistently draw into removal to deal with some kind of deck, especially ones that ramp or can get creatures on the board faster than you. So yeah, I thought it was quite fun to use, but you really, really, really need to hit removal. I'd maybe even think take out 1-2 creatures and put in some cards like so some of the white exile cards like Banishing Lights, or kind of even stuff like the Last Casket. You know, just stuff to get things off the field. Or like Expel as well. So you can just exile your opponent's creatures and then use Athreos to bring them back to your side. So yeah, I am going to try and bring more standard games as well. There are a couple of ideas I have regarding stuff like Magecraft and Learn. There's also one card from Shaven I really want to try out. The other one I will be using, there will be a video coming out on Friday, which is something a little bit different that I want to do. Because I've been getting into a particular kind of game and I want to talk about it. But yeah, anyway, stay tuned for that. If you've enjoyed this, feel free to leave a like. If you want to see more, you can always subscribe. I've been CamBearRun, and thank you for watching.